Hello, I'm Lucy from the Folk Forecast, and I'm here with Tom Besford, the Chief Executive of English Folk Expo. This week they've launched their new Folk Talk Academy, which is full of great resources for anyone who wants to learn more about the folk industry. So, Tom, could you tell us a bit more about what's in store? What kind of resources are available on this new platform?
There's going to be a really nice conversation between John Bowden, Eliza Carthy, and James Yorkston talking about their different experiences working with record companies, record labels, and what that means. But then at the other side, we're going to have a series of talks about equality and diversity with representatives from Black Lives in Music, from Key Change, all the conversations around safeguarding, all of that kind of side of it. Attitude is everything. I'm going to talk about access and disability, and what that means for musicians and for venue bookers. We're going to be doing a whole series on international, touring in Europe, touring in the US, working in China, touring in Canada, in Australia. There's going to be loads of practical stuff like what does an artist manager do all day? And then also we've got fantastic speakers from companies like Clinton's, like Simpkins, who are going to talk about how is a publishing deal structured legally? What is a management deal? Then we're going to speak to booking agents about routing tours and how they take artists on their rosters. We're going to speak to venue bookers about how they program venues. We're going to speak to festivals about how festivals are programmed and how that's all structured. We're going to go into details around how finances work on gigs and shows, why you need a record label or why you might not need a record label, how to self-release an album, advanced social media, all kinds of stuff, which and from people in all over the world, sort of giving their expertise and feedback, not just within a folk setting as well. I think that this is going to be really interesting to people well beyond folk.
So you did a survey a while ago to ask people about their levels of skills and where they were perhaps needed a bit more support. So has that helped to shape the program that you've come up with?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We did a survey right at the start of the year called Folk, the Pandemic and the Future, and over 600 people responded to that, which was really helpful. And a major part of that survey was exactly this: what do people feel would be helpful? What are the knowledge gaps? Who would people like to hear more from? So we took the findings from that survey, we analysed it, and then we've got this program. It's come directly from the feedback from the community who've completed that survey, and I'm really pleased that it was able to be as collaborative as that.
Is it aimed mainly just at artists, or could it be useful for people from right across the industry?
We think it's going to be useful for anybody really who's interested in a career in the music industry. We're targeting at artists, at musicians, but for example, if maybe you're a booking agent who's been looking to get into publishing or understand what that sort of side of it means, maybe you're a musician who wants to put on more shows, promote your friends' gigs. Well, what does that look like? What are those steps? It might be that there's opportunities. So some of the speakers we've got are genuinely some of the speakers are giants within their fields, within their worlds, and I think having the opportunity to hear from some people who have supported artists to help to get to the biggest possible stages, the biggest possible chances within the music industry, to hear from those people talking about the steps that they took to build that career, I think will be helpful to anybody working in any part of the music industry. But yeah, we are tailoring it to artists.
Something that could just be used by folk musicians, or could it be used by any musicians?
We're calling it Folk Talk Academy, and it's come from English Folk Expo. So we are prioritizing folk roots and acoustic musicians. However, there's something here for everybody, regardless of your genre, regardless of your interest. If you're trying to build a career as a professional musician or working in the industry professionally, then there'll be something in this pack for you, something in this resource that people will find really helpful, I hope, because everybody needs to know about distribution, everybody needs to know about publishing, everyone needs to know about live touring, regardless of the genre you're playing in.
And is it particularly is it going to help support people to get back on their feet after the last year?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, the independent music sector has been really, really badly hit from the pandemic, and we wanted to talk about, well, do you pick those things up? One of the talks we've got is from Sam Sweeney, who's going to be talking about juggling multiple roles, multiple parts of a career, how you balance a portfolio career, and there's a whole series on live streaming and what this means now. Yeah, we've got Andy Wood from Spiritland Productions, who has filmed and live streamed some of the biggest artists in the world, Paul McCartney. I think Adele, all sorts of amazing musicians who can talk about ticketing and platforming and stuff. We're working with Northern Cowboys, who are doing some work with us at the moment, who are going to talk about tips for artists. How do you present a live stream, and how is that different to presenting an online to presenting a sort of in-person gig? So I'm hoping that there's new skills and opportunities that are going to be picked up. But I'm also really aware that the pandemic has seen lots of people who maybe would support specialist parts of the music industry, some booking agents maybe stepping back a little bit or retiring, some promoters not being as active, maybe some folk clubs not restarting. Well, we need to equip everyone with the foundations, the skills, to mean that if they want to pick up that ball and run with it, that's an option for them. And we hope that this is going to be part of that process.
Are people going to be paying for this service, or is it something that's provided for free?
So this is totally free. We're really grateful to Arts Council England for providing the funding to enable this particular project to happen. We are going to ask if people sign up, just so we can track and feedback, which are the important things, which is helpful, which is not helpful. We want to create a bit of a community around this, but it is totally free for anybody who wants to access it.
It's not just about the actual content that you're teaching people as well, though, is it? Because was there sort of a student union as part of it?
Yeah, we had this. So Terry, when she created the idea, liked the idea of sitting it within a kind of imaginary academic establishment. So on the Folk Talk Academy website, there are going to be areas. There's a lecture hall, there's a conference centre, speakers corner, a library. But as with any academic institute, there's establishment. There's a student union. So we've currently got a call out for submissions, which will close at the end of this month, for people to come up with ideas, and we've got a little bit of money set aside so that we can just commission people to create something fun that might go in that student union. That could be a quiz, it could be something similar. We've put in a couple of things already into there, but I'm quite looking forward, and I have been thoroughly enjoying some of the ideas that have come forwards, and I'm looking forward to delivering that over the next few months.
So when's the first content going to come out, and how long is it going to be running for?
We're announcing this right now, and there's already a fair bit of content on the site, but the meat of it, the lectures, the essays, we're going to be putting those together and publishing them between May and August this year. All of the lectures, people will be able to sign up and watch them live and interact with the lecturer or the speaker directly. But then once that's happened, it'll be recorded and put on the site for people to use. I'm also hoping that the end of August isn't the final moment of this, and that actually, if this is proven successful, if it's proven popular, that we might do more going into the future. We're just creating this platform to be responsive to whatever people would find helpful.
Thanks very much, Tom. And you can find more information about the Folk Talk Academy over on the English Folk Expo website.